Shalom, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and salutation to the hope for the elect, pushing this word in truth and sincerity with the hope of receiving mercy from Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh Shai is the name of his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Latinos, we are the Israelites, that's according to the Holy Scriptures. This is the brother Shamar for the GMS Jamaica camp, right? And not sure what I'm gonna title this lesson yet, but boy, I just through the spirit getting up looking to see what I can do a lesson on this morning. First thing that caught my eye is this video you see here. It just highlighted the fact to me that boy, this world is really upside down, and it's really like a twilight zone, just the opposite of what it should be. Because the heading, the title says "Father of Five Girls." TV Jamaica. So I'll just play a short section of it, and while I'm playing, I'll look through the comments. Hopefully, the short listen is edifying. I'll get some precepts afterwards. So right away, it's saying this is the Feel Good Friday story, but let's continue.
So imagine being a man in a house full of women. We wouldn't mind that still. Well, Paul Reed doesn't have to imagine. He's the ultimate girl dad with not one, not two, but five young ladies and two sets of twins. Hey, Paul, welcome to Smile Jamaica.
Hey, morning, Neville. What's up?
I can't complain. All is well with you?
Yeah, man, we're good.
Twins in the family on either side somewhere, or no?
Yes, my wife's father is a twin and her uncle as well.
You know what? I don't even want to get any more. The reason why I chose to do a video, or Spirit have me do a video on this, is because let me just get a quick testimony. I remember once I was traveling in a car with my mother and a co-worker of hers, and they're making light conversation. And I remember the co-worker, this is many months or maybe a year ago, and the co-worker asked my mom how many children did she have when she was younger, or how many children she had. And my mother said three sons, right? And the first thing out of the co-worker's mouth, which was quite predictable, any daughters? And mom said, nah, no daughters. And I said, wow, what a pity. That's what the co-worker said. And when the co-worker left out of the car, I pointed out, because my mother didn't realize what happened. So I point out to my mother. I said, hey, do you realize what she just did? You told the co-worker that he had three sons, and the co-worker did not say, wow, congratulations, that's a blessing. But because this world is backward and upside down, the co-worker said to her, don't you have any daughters? So it's just to show you, in this world, women are glorified. Now, this is completely different and in contrast to how times were in the scriptures and how things are supposed to be. Just to show you how backward things have become, right? If you don't know, the seed of the whole race of people, the seed of the nation, comes from the men. So therefore, if you enjoy being of a particular nation, in our case, we are the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Indians, right? We are the Israelites. So if you enjoy being an Israelite, you should want sons, because through the loins of those sons, whatever woman they take on, you're supposed to have the race will spring forth from generation to generation through the seed line, right? Not through the woman. If you keep having women and then the women take on various other races, those races would spring forth from those women, not your race. So you're supposed to celebrate having sons. But we can see in this video, the feel good story for Friday, they're celebrating having a man having five girls. Now, having five girls, if you're looking at the legacy that leaves, is as good as having zero children, because your seed line or your race will not continue if those five girls take on five men of different races. Now, I don't want to rant, so let me get some precepts to back up what I'm saying. All right, this is how it's supposed to be. Salakia. This is Numbers 1, chapter 1, verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls. But the point is, they declare their pedigrees or their lineage by the house of their fathers. This is how it was done in ancient times. This is how it should be. Now, if you're celebrating the woman being born, right? Like you're losing sight of who your forefathers are because you're celebrating women. This is the men that need to be honored. Your forefathers need to be honored. Not saying women don't need to be honored, but it's true the men, your seed line continues, right? And furthermore, the Bible represents or recognizes, I should say, the chosen people as from the lineage that goes through the seed line: Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But notice those are three men. So if you're not of the seed line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but of a different seed line, then you're not the Lord's chosen people. So the Lord recognizes, the offspring that comes through the men, not the women. But in this backward society under Esau, Edom that we find ourselves in, people celebrate having girls and having and if you have boys and you don't have any girls, people don't look at it as a negative thing when really and truly it's a positive thing, because the more boys you have, the more chances you have for your legacy, for your gene pool, for the race to continue through the offspring of those three boys. You're gonna multiply. If your seed line is gonna multiply, the more boys you have. In certain cultures in the East, they celebrate having boys more than having women. A lot of times, I'm not saying I support it, but a lot of times in certain cultures, in certain countries, when they have women, they actually when a child, a female child is born, a lot of time they get rid of the female child, right? Abort it or just get rid of it, but in some way, because they're seeking to have boys, right? So the men are the important ones. The men are the ones that need to be celebrated, man. This is Isaiah 13, verse 12. I will make a man more precious than gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Yeah? So the Lord, when things are set back in the rightful place, the Lord is going to make men more precious than gold, right? Even though, even in this time, men are precious. Men are not regarded as such in society, but in reality, they really are precious, more precious than gold. Gold is something that is rare, man. Like there's about 2 billion more women on the earth than men. So how can something that is more plentiful than the other be more precious? But that is the situation we find ourselves in. Women who are more plentiful than men are more precious in this society. It's backward. It's not, you see. And just to I just want to clarify. I made this point to someone earlier, and the person said made the predictable comeback or rhetoric that you hate women, but I had to point this out to the person. I'm saying, hey, all right, let's take a step back. Do you enjoy? Do you quote unquote? Do you enjoy? Are you a quote unquote proud Jamaican? The person say yes, they're a proud Jamaican. Everyone says they're a proud whatever nationality. I won't get into to pride. I was just saying how people say it nowadays. Yes, they're a pro Jamaican. The person said, "All right, fine." I said, "If you're a pro Jamaican, do you know that if you want your offspring to be pro Jamaicans, you need a Jamaican man to have Jamaican sons and daughters." Because if you keep having daughters and those daughters take on men from other nations, it's those other nations who will reproduce through those women. And you that enjoy being a proud Jamaican, your granddaughters or grandchildren could possibly not be Jamaican. Would you like that? And the person said no. I said, therefore, you should want sons as well. You should celebrate having sons, because that's how our race is reproduced. Yeah. So like, hopefully I'm not ranting. The men are the important ones, man. This is Ezekiel 34, verse 31. And yea, my flock, the flock of my pasture, are men, and I am your power, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. There you go again. The flock of the pasture are men. Now, just to make sure that this message is balanced, I just want to say, of course, there's roles for women as well. There's a role for women. The woman was created, as we know, as it is written in the book of Genesis, as a helpmeet. The woman is supposed to be or the wife is supposed to be a helpmeet to the husband. They're supposed to help the husband in whatever venture or whatever the husband needs help with. That's why the woman was created. And to be honest, a lot of women who don't agree with this, um, you should try it out, because a lot of women find um, their true purpose being fulfilled, you know, in, on the inside, and you feel that sense of accomplishment by supporting their husband and their family, because that's why they were created. A lot of women, modern women, who take on these modern roles, as they forego family to focus on career. A lot of the times when they reach over 40 years old, closing on 50 years old, they realize they've made a huge mistake, because they get zero fulfillment from their career. A lot of those women, when they finally, if they get a late baby, uh, they get pregnant after 40 years old, a lot of those women drop their career completely to focus on family, because they realize that is where they get their ultimate fulfillment. So yeah, the flock of the pasture is men, man. The Lord is dealing with men. The Lord, yeah, the Lord's elect, the Lord's rulership will flow through men, man. And this is the order. This is 1 Corinthians 11 verse 3. But I'd have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach, yeah, the anointed, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Hamashiach is Yahweh, right? So this is the order that the Lord set up things in. And in this current society, we find things out of order. We find women being celebrated more than men. Having daughters is being celebrated more than having sons, right? And it's not just based off that video. It's based off like my personal testimony. As I said earlier, I find when people ask my mom about how many children she have, and she says only sons, it's never followed by a congratulation. When real and true, when you understand the scriptures, so that it's supposed to be something that is celebrated. By having men, then you have more, the Lord is dealing with men. You have more chances for your race to be replicated through the seed line of the men. Having 5 daughters is as good as having 0 children, if you're considering, because your gene pool, your seed line cannot be transferred through those daughters. You need sons to propagate your seed line, right? So yeah, that's the order: men above women. And I think the point has been made, and hopefully this lesson was edifying. Yeah, just want to say that when the Lord puts things back in its rightful order, men will be more precious than gold. Yeah, and things will go in their rightful order. Women will learn to appreciate the men more, yeah, and love and honor and serve their men more, because that is the righteous order. So Kalalayam la Yabashima Shai Bashima Kakadash, give me the spirit to this lesson. Shalom to the hopeful elect.